up, get out right out of your bed, that's your quicksand. Getting rid anxiety and head, you can fix it. Rid of stigmas, all of them you said, we ain't listening. Just remember, try to do your best, you can win this. Maurice Benard, State of Mind.
Hi, my name is Maurice Benard, and this is State of Mind. And this has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to wear it. Thank you. I'm going to do it a little differently now. We're actually moving into another studio, and I hope it's as comfy as this. It will be, because my wife will furnish it. But I want to start every State of Mind with something that has to do with mental health, or at least something that's I'm thinking about life. You know, when my dad was alive, he used to always say to me, and I've said it on State of Mind, but he used to always say to me, Mauricio, what is worse, anxiety or depression? And I'd say, you've asked me that 1,000 times. Come on, tell me. And, you know, I'm going to give you the same answer, Dad. They're both bad. Not bad in terms of you can't get over it. Bad in terms of how we think about it. But I would say, for me, anxiety's worse. And then he'd say, why? And I'd say, well, Dad, you know, because depression is more in the body, more heavier and stuff. Anxiety is like, you can't stop those thoughts until you figure out how, right? So it's not, you make the impossible possible. But when I'm in it, I call anxiety Freddy Krueger, because he just, you know, he's there. But, and if you watch the State of Mind I did on anxiety and suicide, I just had anxiety. It's been over, since the pandemic, it's been over two years since I've had that kind of panic scare. But guess what? I did what had to be done, and I got through it in like 5 or 6 days. And in my mind, I thought, oh no, I'm not going to be able to go back to work. I'm not going to do State of Mind. Oh my God. No, I got through it with nature, with Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, and you can also. So I'm going to leave you at that. Now, who we have today? Today we have someone I don't know much about. I'm going to let him tell me his story. Seems like a great guy just by his energy. And he just got attacked by a beehive or a bunch of bees. We'll get into that. I do know that he is incredibly intelligent. And I'm usually intimidated by incredibly intelligent people. I really am. Because I barely graduated from high school. So his name is Jacob C. Jensen. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
So before we start, tell me about the bees, man.
Well, I was working in my yard yesterday. I've been gone for 6 weeks. I've been in Utah with my family.
Oh, you were going rock climbing?
I was going rock climbing, yes. But I was picking up my yard because it was a mess, and I guess I disturbed a yellow jacket, or I think they're hornet kind of nest. And it's funny because I had my AirPods in. I was talking to my mom, and I suddenly just started screaming. And one stung me, and then I see this like 30 or 40 of them coming at me, and
And they're biting you?
They're stinging me.
Stinging you?
They're buzzing around my head. So I run inside. I'm trying to brush them off. I'm still screaming this whole time, and my mom is just going like, "What's going on?"
And she's worried. And
She's like, "Never be on the phone with your son when he gets stung by yellow jackets."
because you were like screaming.
I was screaming. I was get off, because I.
And how many bit you?
I think about 10.
I see. Why do I say bit? It's sting.
Yes, and one of them, I know what it was because one of them died on my living room floor. I guess I swatted it off and it died.
Really?
So that's why I have this like app and I identified it as yellow jackets. But yeah, it was pretty gnarly yesterday.
And that just happened yesterday?
Last night, yeah.
But you seem like you're all calm, cool, and collected. What the?
Well, I'm okay now, but they still are really. I guess 48 hours is when they hit their worst. So tomorrow. Sometime it will. But they're just super itchy and swollen, and I'm wearing pants for a reason. They're like all ankle and up my leg, and so.
So what do you? I mean, here we're talking about bees. It's great. What do you do when you're getting attacked by? What are you supposed to do? You know, they say when a bear attacks you, you're supposed to don't run, don't back. Stay high, stay, tall and yell, whatever. I don't know what you do.
Well, what I've read is that, like bees, it's better to stay still. But I guess with yellow jackets, they're really aggressive. So you really have to just try to outrun them or get away from them because they will not.
Whoa.
So that's why I think I actually did the right thing. Now, maybe the screaming at the top of my lungs.
But let me tell you something, Jacob. You just brought up something that is cool as hell. It just hit me in my head. You're supposed to stay still when you're being. That's the same way with anxiety.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. Like, I hope that word's right because I know you're a doctor and the whole thing. I'm very street smart though.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
But yeah, that is like anxiety where the bees are attacking you and you're not supposed to move, but it's scary and it's hurting.
Yeah. And our instinct is to move or run.
Yeah,
which
move.
I'm sure is the same
with
anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to be still with that.
What the heck? That's just.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal it from you.
Steal it from me. That's great.
I like that a lot, actually. So where'd you grow up? Tell me about your childhood and all that kind of. It was a simple childhood, nice childhood. Tell me about.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, it was great.
Nothing.
I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. Pretty calm.
But Utah's where they have. I forget. The Mormons and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up Mormon.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I experienced all that, and I'm still in it. It's it's a huge part of my.
I'm fascinated by that.
It's a huge part of my culture, my identity, who I am. So, but yeah, I had a great upbringing. I have a twin sister. We got along great.
Identical twin?
We don't look anything alike. Yeah. People always ask my mom that, and she's like, "No, they have different plumbing. Boy, girl." So that was always her response.
Because my dad was an identical twin.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But, of course you can't be. But wait a minute. What I'm trying to get at is, can you have a sister who looks identical to you, but obviously not? But,
Well, I definitely have seen fraternal twins that look almost like they would be identical if they were the same. But in our case, my sister looks like my dad and I look like my mom. We totally got opposite genes.
Oh, wow.
So it's funny.
So you grew up Mormon.
Yeah.
You're still Mormon, and you were cool with all that, the whole thing.
I went on a mission when I was 19, 2 years in Switzerland. Did that whole.
I've had somebody else here too did the same thing, but I think her experience wasn't like your experience. So it's interesting how everybody has different opinions on that.
Yeah.
So in school, because I'm very into. Just because like I said, I barely graduated from high school. As a matter of fact, I don't. Well, it's another story that I don't even know if I graduated. But how is it being intelligent? I mean, were you intelligent at a young age? Okay, did you get straight A's all the way up?
Pretty much.
Oh
yeah.
my
I
God.
did. I have
Wait
to,
a minute.
I have to admit that, yes.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's funny because I always was jealous of people that had more of the street smarts. Because my sister would always say, you're the dumbest smart person I know. Because I was smart, but I was so dumb, and I still am.
Dumb and like
and just in life stuff, I just she still
I get it.
She always would say, you're the dumbest smart person I know.
But how is it that like school, when it comes that easy for you, do you get bored? Do you get like, this is just too easy? I'm just like,
I think I was definitely bored early on. Once I got to junior high, and I actually went to a high school while I was like in 7th grade junior high. They had an advanced program.
wait, back up. You were in 7th grade and they bumped you up to.
Well, I didn't skip grade, but they put us in it was a special program called ELP, Extended Learning Program.
Oh, my God.
And so I was taking classes with all high school students. And that's where I started enjoying school because I finally felt like I was being challenged. And so I enjoyed school from about 7th grade on.
So
But
what's your IQ?
I have no idea.
But it's got to be like a mother.
I don't consider myself that smart. I had a lot of perseverance to get through 10 years of grad school and undergrad.
Yeah,
grad
you
school.
from master's degree from University of Utah.
And
What is mental skills training to combat anxiety?
well, I have my PhD from the University of Tennessee in sports psychology, but sports psychology really is mental training for athletes. So how to manage stress, anxiety, pressure situations. So I don't deal with a lot of clients or athletes that have mental health. Although, I mean, they might, but what they come to me for is more how to manage that out on the performance, field, out on the field, competing, and what that looks like, managing that. So that's what the mental skills. So we do a lot of.
So like what? Like what? I like this.
A lot of relaxation techniques.
Oh.
A lot of imagery, visualization. Seeing yourself, optimizing your performance, self-talk, goal setting, motivation, communication, really anything that impacts your performance and handling pressure.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So,
but not a lot of anxiety, depression.
well,
Do they not tell you, or you just?
a lot of that comes out later, and then I often will refer them to a clinical psychologist who's more specialized in treating mental health disorders. So it's kind of a referral process.
Yeah.
There's a lot just life stuff that comes up.
But you've never had any anxiety or depression or.
Not at the clinical level. Certainly related to sport, which is one reason I went into sports psychology. And I think I had you asked, was I always like smart or successful? I had a real perfectionist streak to me where.
And that can get you.
And it got me finally.
Oh, it did.
By my senior year of college, I was so obsessed with getting a 4.0 GPA and being valedictorian that I literally was in a dark place because of that. I was so scared to like not be successful that it put me in a dark place. And then I was
What's the dark place look like?
I just remember talking to my tennis coach, not my college coach, but the coach I'd worked with, all like from age 13 for 10 years or so.
Damn.
And I remember just looking at him and saying, like, I hate myself. And he's like, you don't hate yourself. I was like, yeah, I do. I hate myself. And that was where I realized that I was putting way too much pressure on myself to be successful as an athlete, as a student, just in life. But it was a process of recovering from that, I think.
And how long did that last?
I just remember it really bad during my senior year of college.
Oh, the whole senior?
Yeah, especially that last semester. I was literally like almost, I hate to call it a panic attack, but almost a panic attack with the thought of not finishing with that perfect GPA.
So how do you know that it wasn't a panic attack?
Well,
or maybe
I did have a panic attack on the tennis court where I literally felt like the world was spinning out of control.
Yeah,
I was profusely sweating.
Yeah.
I I literally had to ask to be taken out of the match.
No.
And as a college athlete, that's kind
And
of
you're like great at tennis.
and I was very good. So to like literally get to the point where I had to remove myself from that situation was what I had to do, but it was also very devastating because that was my identity. I was a tennis player and I was a college athlete. And so to remove myself from that was incredibly
What was the
difficult.
trigger?
Well, I was having what we call the yips. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, but I think I read that on your thing, and I want to know.
So it's a term that's used. It started with golfers, like a professional golfers couldn't make a simple putt, and that's called the putting yips. But it's really where you lose control over a motor pattern that you've done for years. So like baseball players will get the throwing yips, and they literally can't throw the ball, or a volleyball player will get the setting yips and they can't set the ball. I got it in my serve, so a skill that I had done for my whole life since I was 5 years old, I suddenly couldn't get the ball over the net, and I really thought that. To me, that was kind of like the worst thing because I didn't feel like I had any control over it. And when you're accomplished at something, it'd be like you going on set and suddenly you can't perform.
Of course.
The worst feeling, and I just remember, after I finished college, I just looked at myself and I go, if the mind is so powerful to destroy performance, to make it to the point where I couldn't perform a simple skill that I had done for years, there's got to be a reverse of that you can counter that. And that's where I went into sports psychology.
Right after that?
There's got to be things that I could have done, that I could have worked on to combat that.
No, I love this conversation, man. I didn't know we were going to be doing this.
Yeah, I didn't know what direction it was going to go.
This is amazing. How long did you feel that way for days, or because I'm going to tell you my story.
Yeah.
Right when you're done here. I mean, not done here, done with. So, the next day, were you all right, or did it take a while?
It took months to get out of a dark place.
Damn.
It took 2 years to get over the yips.
No.
So I started working with a sports psychologist after college, who's very good. He was a sports psychologist for the Utah Jazz, for the U.S. Speed skating team. We worked together consistently for about a year, and then I continued doing a lot of the stuff that we worked on. But it took 2 years till I felt like I was over it.
You couldn't.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And what do they say that is?
There's a lot of discussion. Is it physiological? Is it psychological?
A pitcher couldn't do. I watched Inside Sports or HBO, and he couldn't. He was thrown over there. He couldn't do it.
Yeah, again, looking back, I think I trace it to all the pressure I was putting on myself. I wanted to succeed so much. I was scared of failure. To me, failure was the worst thing as an athlete, as a student. That all of that just compounded over the years, and to the point where it like the yips happened, or it was, to me, the yips were kind of my version of a breakdown.
Yeah, what I'm listening to is what I had during the pandemic, and I know people are like, oh, the pandemic again, but I got to say what I think. It's a anxiety, bro. It's like a panic. It lasted, for me, it was 4 months of truly figuring out how to not be here anymore, man. That's how ugly it was. Now, you say the yips, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what happened. So it's the same thing. My son says, let's play basketball. I said, I was not feeling great, but I said, all right. I go to throw the ball, and it would go over there. Okay? And that gets me emotional. It's like what happens in that situation, because my whole life has been mental health and all that stuff. So I'm thinking, this has never happened to me. This is even worse. that I can't throw a ball and hit the backboard. The ball's going over there. Then he goes, let's play ping pong. Now I'm like a champion ping pong player. I mean, I could play, right?
Yeah.
Ball would go over here. I'd hit the ball over here. I'm thinking, I'm done.
Wow.
Because mentally, your mind's already messed up.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking that, and I don't know if you got the shakes. If you got did you get that?
Yeah, before I would go to serve, I'd be shaking, and then it would almost feel like I had an injury. It was like my shoulder was like shredded because I was so anxious that like the tension actually felt like I was doing physical damage to myself.
So we kind of had the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you say dark, yeah, it's dark, and I'm telling you, as you probably know now, because I have this conversation quite a lot. If you don't understand it, most people don't understand it unless they've lived it. Yeah. You and I are right now connecting on a level of depth because we've almost lived it identical. Yours in a different way, but same. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it really hit me there that because I know your history and what you went through in your early 20s and getting, diagnosed with bipolar and things. To me, that sounds so horrendous to go through. But you're saying that what you experienced during the pandemic was worse in some ways.
It's like my dad would say, what's worse, when you had a mental institution or the pandemic? And I'd be like, that's the worst of two evils.
Yeah.
I would say, it's funny we're talking, this is going phenomenal. I didn't know, I thought we were just going to be, okay, you're a tennis player, beep, beep, beep. A doctor, oh, now I feel stupid. No, this is a great conversation. You can't, it's harder what I went through in the pandemic as opposed to when I was 20 because I have more responsibility. So my mind says, I can't take care of my family.
Yeah.
I didn't have that then. I was alone for 6-7 months in my mom and dad's house after the mental hospital. But I was alone. I didn't have anybody, now I got a whole family to take care of. And when you think that's done, woo, that's when you're...
Yeah.
Holy moly, Jacob. This is cool, man. I don't know what I expected, but this is very cool. All right, now we got through the whole. So you've done a little acting. What's going on? You get into acting a little bit or not?
Yeah, I actually paid for grad school through modeling, and then I started doing commercials, and I got that bug. And then I remember finishing my PhD, and I actually couldn't get a job right away. I applied for different jobs and didn't get hired right away, and so I moved to Miami, and my first day there, I booked a big national Fiat commercial, and I was like, well, this is cool.
What?
It's so different because I had been in this like academic world for so many years to just kind of be hanging out in Miami and going to castings, and it was a nice relief after the intensity of school for so many years.
Yeah.
That I really loved it, and I didn't necessarily think of that as a career. But then I moved to California and started taking acting classes. I loved being on set, but I really didn't have experience as a TV or film actor. And I realized very quickly I had to get training. So I moved to LA in 2014, and I knew it was going to take a while to get training and feel comfortable out there. But it really gave me a community. It's given me, and I love it. I love
you're cool with the rejection. That doesn't bother.
That's one thing I think having started as a model is you get used to rejection.
Oh, that's true.
You get rejected all the time.
Yeah.
And actually in the acting world, I feel like it's less obvious sometimes because you go to the audition and you just don't hear anything. Whereas in the modeling world, it's like your nose is too big, your ears stick out too much, you're ugly, So I think that I developed a thick skin with that. But the acting's been, slowly kind of built steam. I was in a indie feature film last year that shot for a year. That was a lot of fun. Lead role. Hopefully will come out sometime later in the year. Done, it's a process of building.
It is a process, yeah.
The pandemic kind of was
Yeah.
not a great time, obviously, to
Yeah.
get any momentum going. And then obviously right now is
I
hard to
don't
get momentum, but
I don't know if you know, but I was a big time model. One of the biggest models ever in the history of modeling. Modeling for me was the worst. Was the worst thing. I mean, everything leads to something else, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But when you're 5'9", and the women are 6'8", I'm exaggerating.
No, I know.
But they're
They
tall.
put heels on, and then they're like way taller than you.
And I would have done anything to make it. But it was just, and then to top it off, a buddy of mine, well, he wasn't a buddy then, but he became a buddy. He was my height, and he's hugely successful, going for the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
And we look alike. So then I'm like, but it got me into acting. So
Yeah.
But it's all tough. Rejection's rejection. But I think the more I never had a good outlook on. I always worry too much what people think, and I always say this on State of Mind. It seems like there's a correlation between mentally ill and caring what people think.
Yeah.
Because most of the people that have a mental illness that I've talked to care too much what people think.
Yeah.
Because all this stuff that we talked about and everything is stress, man.
Yeah. Yes.
If we can get rid of some of that stress, whether it be by meditation, as you know, yoga, whatever it is, working out, the way you eat, you're not going to have as much anxiety or depression. At least that's my experience.
Yeah. I mean, my first year of my master's program, I took a meditation course, and I started meditating. Well, I built up to twice a day for 20 minutes a day. So 40 minutes a day of meditating. And I've pretty much done that.
How much?
40 minutes a day I spend meditating, which sounds like a lot, but when you break it up, it's not.
Oh, you don't do it at one time?
No, I do like 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. Sometimes more, sometimes less, depends on schedule and time. But I started that in 2008, and I've been doing it pretty much every day since then. And it's made and not just that. I mean, I've worked on other
but that
mental skill, but
yeah.
it's made a huge difference. And I think that's one reason I would have been a lot better athlete if I had done that earlier, but I think it's also helped me as I've transitioned to other performance settings like acting, where I feel like I have a base that keeps me grounded and that keeps me in the moment and present and not, and managing stress much better. I mean, my family are like, I worry so much less. I mean, everybody that I know that have known me my whole life notice a huge difference from when I started that to now.
Same with me. I'm a different guy now than I was 5 years ago, 10 years. Damn, that meditating. I do this now every day. I put my hands together like this, and for at least I start at 10 minutes. But I'll do it longer, and I just don't. I either look when I'm in my home in Temecula, I look at the pond, I look at the water, I look at the birds, and I just do this and just stay in silence. And today I did it, but here I'm looking at walls,
Yeah.
But here I did it, and it went quick, man. I said, "Whoa, that's 10 minutes." So I think I'm gonna go longer and longer. Meditating has been very, I'll say this again just because it's a real cool thing. There was a meditation that you go down these stairs in your mind, you walk down these stairs, and then there's a door, and that was the meditation. So what I did was I said, I'll go down these stairs as me, and then I see the door, and I'll open the door. And to me, when I open the door, it's heaven. And what happens is in my mind, I saw roses. Then I see a bunch of green grass, man. And I'm going to tell you something that happened too. And I see all this green grass. And then I see a waterfall to the left and a building to the right. And like what I do, and there's like children playing and stuff. And then I go and lay down, my head back, close my eyes, open my eyes. And when I open my eyes, I see people who have died in my life. And it's so real, man. It's like tears just popping out of my face. Like,
Yeah. Wow.
like I see my dad. I see, because I had a lot of people die in my life. But it's a beautiful thing. And then my mom, it's amazing how things work, man. My mom said, I just watched this movie or something or a book of what this little boy who died said he looks like what heaven looks like to him. I swear to God, man. It was the same building and waterfall and grass. I said, Mom, you're freaking me out. But, yeah, so what else? Rock climbing. I want to know about rock climbing. That's what the hell? Because I'm afraid of heights, man.
Well, I have a cousin who is an extreme athlete. So he's an extreme skier. He skis straight down the mountain, going in and out of trees. He does rock climbing. So I was in Utah, and so I decided we're the same age. We grew up together. We're good friends. But I went on a hike with him. Beautiful 3-mile hike up to this mountain lake. And he's like, we got there, and I was like, okay, that was a great hike. And he's like, no, that's just the start of our exploring. So we went another, a couple hours. And then he's like, let's try to go down this. It was about a 40, 50-foot cliff. And I said,
oh, no.
And I'm like, without any gear, without any ropes or anything. He's like, let's free climb this. And I said, oh, you go. And then he went down maybe 10 feet. And he's like, it's not bad at all. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. I get about 10 feet down to where he is. And I realized, looking down, it was like a straight cliff going straight down. And I thought, I can't do this. But then I look up and I'm like, I can't free climb back up.
Oh, no.
It's one of those that you're going down the 10 feet or 15 feet or whatever it was. It was like, oh, I'm okay. And then I look up and I'm like,
and you
okay,
can't go back.
Only one way down.
And you did it?
And I did it. I used all of my breathing, staying calm, all of my training I used. But the part that really freaked me out, there was about a 3 or 4 inch ledge that I had to go along facing it.
Oh my God.
And literally if I took one step, I would have been at the bottom. And most of it was I could go on my butt from one little crevice to the next. But it was really funny because it probably took an hour to get down it. And there were these 2 big bull moose at the bottom in the pasture.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was cool. My cousin was scared of the moose. He's like, we've got to avoid them. They could charge us. And I'm like, after what we just did, how can you be scared of these animals? But,
my son did. He went to those places that you rock. I don't know what
they're climbing walls and things.
And he didn't have his harness.
Yeah.
And he fell, broke his back.
Okay, well, it's not good.
No.
And what I did was stupid.
Yeah, I don't.
I showed my dad that
He got pissed, right?
Got really. I was surprised. My mom was actually pretty good about it. My dad got really
I would have been.
He was really pissed.
I kind of want to beat your friend's ass right now.
Yeah.
Because that's not that you can't do. You.
No, I know it's dangerous. And
what's his name?
I'm not gonna say it. But to him, that's what life is about. Is that adrenaline?
I
rush.
get that's life's about.
I know.
But you don't bring other people into it.
It's funny because he got really he was coaching me down.
Oh, I get it.
But he totally shifted from being his normal kind of
sarcastic
person. He's like, Jake, you're doing great. you've got this. And I'm like, Phil, like, you never talk like that. So I know this is pretty bad.
Hey, Jacob, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Oh, that's not cool, man.
No, I was like, I knew it was pretty dangerous because I told him, I was like, I know it was dangerous because of the way you were talking to me. I was like, but I'm glad you did because it got me through it. But
yeah, my son wanted me to go to the Malibu, and he goes, but Dad, there are some rocks when you walk over this other beach. I'm like, what do you mean rocks? He goes, well, you know, I said, no, I'm not going.
Smart man.
All right, Jacob, I think we've done it, bro. This has been, like I said, I don't know what I expect. We don't know each other. I looked you up. There wasn't a lot, and I thought, oh no, I don't know how we're gonna. But I will say this, and I say it. I don't say it a lot, but I'll say it. I think what you have done today, both of us, but you, is gonna really help a lot of people. I really do. The conversation that we had and stuff about. What is it, yips?
Yips, yeah.
Because I've never met anybody who's had it. That's a beautiful thing when you can find somebody who's had the same thing.
I agree with that because when I went through it originally, I truly felt like I was the only person in the world that had ever experienced that.
I know.
And now, obviously, I realize it's...
Because you do research.
It's not that... it's more common than you would think.
Yes.
And like even your experience... It didn't happen as a professional or collegiate athlete, but it happened going out with your son. You can't shoot a basket or play ping pong. So I think it impacts way more people than we realize.
Yeah.
And how paralyzing anxiety and stress can be. Because it really does feel like you're almost paralyzed.
Yes, it does.
So I wish that I had talked to more people, going through it because I felt so alone, and I'm sure there's times.
Well,
that's too.
That's why this is here.
Yeah, which is so great, and thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
People don't feel alone because, like I say, when I was going through that in the pandemic, when I was younger, there was no YouTube, there was nothing.
Yeah, it was different.
So I couldn't go. What is going on with me? It took a month to tell me I'm bipolar. Manic depressive. What about that month that I didn't know? What am I? I'm in a mental institution. There was nothing. But now during the pandemic, I could at least go to YouTube and go, okay, if I take this, what happens? And then and like this show, people can go, oh, these guys have gone through it, so I'm not an alien.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be an alien.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, Jacob. I think we've covered it. I appreciate you being here. I had a great talk with you, and I loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot, so thank you.
Thank you. State of mind. See you next time, maybe in the new studio. Woo. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, man.
Thank you.